I feel like nationally now. Again, our studio's in New York, and I'm listen. Full disclosure, I'm a Jets fan, but I feel like the Jets are one of the stories that, for the most part, are being ignored a little bit, and really how dangerous they could be, and what their upside is. They get to the quarterback. They don't allow points. They force turnovers, and they're getting a superstar back this week who didn't even play the first 4 games because of suspension. How good could the Jets be this season?
Well, I think people will always have hesitation with the Jets, Brandon, just because of their quarterback. Now, that's my buddy, the Harvard buddy, Ryan Fitzpatrick. But I think because he's their quarterback, there will always be a pumping of the brakes on any Jets hype machine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, plus, when you've got 6 teams that are undefeated, and that doesn't even count the Arizona Cardinals who are killing people, I mean, the Jets are kind of down the line in terms of storylines. Then they had the bye week, and if you look, it seems like most of the Jets' wins, it's been about the other team. You know, they beat the Dolphins. All everybody wants to talk about is how bad the Dolphins are and Philbin needs to be fired. When they beat the Colts, it was all about Andrew Luck's picks. It's just funny that the opponents for the Jets have worked out that when the Jets played them, even when the Eagles beat the Jets, the Eagles actually winning a game was the bigger story. Every game the Jets have played, it seems like the opponent has been the bigger story, which is weird because every other year, the Jets are always the biggest story no matter what happens.
But, you know,
whether they
Ross,
win, lose, whatever, they're usually the one we're talking about.
I was going to say, maybe that's a nice deviation from the old script of Rex Ryan. Instead of, pounding the chest and coming out with all this bluster, maybe lying in the weeds and coming out and giving up 12 or 13 points a week and doing it quietly. Maybe that's the way to go.
Well, it certainly seems like. I think that, to me, they are clearly the second-best team in the AFC East, especially now that the Bills might be without Tyrod Taylor for a couple weeks. I don't see how they beat the Bengals with E.J. Manuel. I'll be at that game for Westwood 1, and I'm bummed out that Tyrod's most likely not going to play, to say the least. I don't have a ton of confidence in E.J. in that one. But, yeah, I mean, I think – and what's great for the Jets is that, the Ravens are down, the Chiefs are down.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these teams that I thought would be right there for wild card in the AFC, Brandon, I won't say they're done, but they're on life support. You've got those paddles on their chests right now. Jets are in a golden position to make the playoffs this year. There's no question.
Yeah, no, I certainly factored the demise, and we'll put quotes around that, of some of the teams you mentioned in forming my opinion for the Jets. I agree. It's Ross Tucker, NFL analyst, Westwood 1. He's going to be doing the game. Although he'll be getting paid, other people actually have to pay to watch E.J. Manuel try to actually play quarterback. So have fun with that, fans.
Well, Ross, since BT took the liberty to talk about the AFC East, I'll talk about the NFC East and my New York Giants, who are atop it. Really not the Giants that I want to talk about. It's the other teams that are trailing them, all of them at 2-3. The Dallas Cowboys are technically in second but because they have 2 division wins, or 2-0 in a division. But they're talking about a QB change and maybe a running back change. I mean, is this just lipstick on the pig down there? It's going to be ugly for them until they get some of their stars back.
Correct. I think they're actually doing it for psychological reasons. I'm not sure Matt Castle is really going to do more for them than what Brandon Weeden was doing, but they've lost 3 in a row. And so I think they feel like psychologically they need to change it up, switch it up somehow. Whedon's never done anything in the league. So I think psychologically with the other guys on the team, you bring in a guy like Castle who's been around the block and he's won some games. I think the hope there is that it gives the rest of the team enough of a spark, enough of a boost that they can win a couple of these games because, I mean, the fight's about to be over before Romo's even ever to come back in the ring, which is not good because I really thought if the Cowboys went 3-5 without Romo and they were 5-5, I thought they'd still win the division. But to do that, they'd have to go 3-2 over the next 5 now. I don't see that happening. And I'm amazed. I'm sure you guys have talked about it. It's going to backup quarterback situations in this league and the way teams manage it. I mean, last week, the Colts cut Josh Johnson after the game Sunday night, and then they find out Hasselbeck's sick and Luck might not play. They get him on the red eye. Tuesday night, he gets there Wednesday, hops on a plane to go to Houston, and he's a play away from playing the whole game in a division game against the Houston Texans. And then the Bills had Castle as their backup quarterback. They said that. He's our number 2. But Romo goes down, so they trade him for peanuts to the Cowboys. And now E.J. Manuel's starting, and Josh Johnson's a play away for the Bills now this week, and E.J. Manuel's starting. And then the Cowboys had Whedon as their backup for a year and a half, and yet when Romo goes down, after 3 weeks in the offense, Castle's a better option. I'm amazed that teams don't put more value in the backup quarterback, even the third quarterback position.
Yeah,
it's very important.
I got to tell you, Ross, I've never thought of it that way.
No, he tied it together very well.
When you laid it out like that and tied it together with Josh Johnson as the key figure there, that kind of makes you scratch your head in serious ways.
Hey, Brandon, do I have enough time to ask Tiki one quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm writing a column this week. In all sincerity, Tiki, you know Kuechly's coming back to play Sunday, right?
Yes.
And he got hurt in the first game of concussion.
Yep.
And he missed the last 3 games, and then they had to bye a week last week.
Yep.
Maybe it's just the era when you and I played, but what we know now, I don't know, man. I mean, if I got a concussion that kept me out for a month,
I'm done.
I couldn't get through the NFL's concussion protocol for a month.
Ross, I'm done. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
How about this, too? This is something that's going to be interesting to talk about. He has over $34 million guaranteed on his contract for injury.
Yeah.
So he get a couple doctors that say, yeah, man, that's a bad concussion. You should never play again. $34 million to walk away.
Ross, you know what the issue is, though. You know what the issue. But you know what the issue is.
I'm so glad it was one question, Ross. At least we're not up against the clock.
Yeah, no,
here,
it's all good. We only got about 30 seconds here, Ross. But here's the thing: he has a lot of pride in what he does for a living. And some guys, you know this. You see it with the Brett Favres of the world who play forever. They can't see themselves doing anything else because they love the game so much. But at some point, someone, family member, wife, whoever it is, needs to inject some reason into his thinking because it's long-term and it could have serious adverse effects on the quality of the next 60 years of your life. Forget the 30 that you're playing a sport. The rest of it is what matters.